Hello, and welcome to Say It Naturally. If you've ever felt unsure about your pronunciation or hesitant about using your voice in English, you're in the right place. I'm Jenny. I'm an English pronunciation and neurolanguage coach. And in this podcast, I share insights, reflections, and simple ideas to help you feel more at ease, more confident, and more natural when you speak. And if you're a teacher, I'll also be sharing occasional teacher's notes you can take into your classroom. I'm really glad you're here. Before we begin, if you have found this podcast supports you in some small way, please feel very welcome to follow the podcast, leave a review, 5 stars, or share it with someone who might find it helpful as well. Thank you. Today, I'd like to talk about the power of curiosity in language learning. So often, when we're learning languages and starting to speak in a second language, we're very self-critical. We criticize ourselves when we use the wrong word or say something incorrectly, maybe with the wrong pronunciation. But a state of curiosity creates a much more effective learning environment than self-judgment. It really opens our attention rather than shutting it down. When we say, "Oh, I don't get it," our brain closes and believes that we don't get it. Whereas when we start asking simple questions like, "What's different here?" or "What am I noticing?" we open ourselves up to new possibilities and deeper learning. One thing that's really important to create this kind of space is to make sure that you're in an emotionally safe space. Because when we feel safe and supported and also curious and interested, this helps our brains retain new information, new sound patterns much more easily. And I'm sure many of you, I'm sure you may have heard of the term that, of the idea that fail is the first attempt in learning. And this is so true with language learning because our mistakes are information. They are something that we can learn from rather than something to avoid. I still remember when my younger sister was learning to speak. One evening we were making dinner, my mum was cooking sausages, and my little sister came out with, "The sausage is all fat in the pan." Of course, she meant fit, but she was applying another rule that she knew, sit and sat, to the word fit. And although it wasn't correct, we all knew what she meant. And she learnt from that that not all verbs follow the same patterns. And it was something fun for the family for a long time. And I think that when we open up our mind and create a curious mindset, we are much more likely to be consistent in our language learning journey because the learning feels much lighter and much more engaging. And if you're a teacher, here's a short teacher's note you can take into your classroom. The way your learners feel in your classroom has a direct impact on how effectively they learn. When learners feel judged or under pressure, they often become more cautious and less willing to engage. But when curiosity is present, something shifts, and you can support this by the way that you respond to mistakes. Instead of correcting immediately, we might pause and ask, What are you noticing here? Or what feels different about this? This helps our learners stay engaged and involved in the learning process rather than stepping back from it. When curiosity becomes part of the classroom, learners are more open, more motivated, and more likely to continue developing over time. So, the key thing to remember is this. Curiosity creates space for learning. When you begin to notice more, your understanding naturally deepens. And one of the most powerful things you can begin to notice is not just what is being said, but how it's being said. In the next episode, we'll explore intonation and how small changes in your voice can completely change the meaning of what you say. If this episode resonated for you at all, please follow the podcast or share it with someone else who could benefit from hearing it as well. Thank you for listening today. I hope something in this episode gave you a little more ease or a new way of thinking about your voice. And if you'd like more support with your own pronunciation or confidence, you can find me at excellenceinenglisheducation.com. I work with learners and teachers who want to feel more comfortable and natural in their spoken English. There'll be a new episode of Say It Naturally next week, and I'd love for you to join me again. Until then, take care of yourself and your voice.